Okay, here's the template layout for the Depron foam FPV airboat. You can notice it is about 23 inches long by 2 inches tall on the length of the rails. Then the top forward section is roughly 12 inches wide by 17 inches long. The width of the horizontal, we'll call the horizontal braces, are 12 inches on the top by 11 inches on the bottom. They're 2 inches tall. And then the bottom of the boat is actually 24 inches long because this can actually curve up, so you need a little extra length there. And then the sides are also a little bit extra long. I think they're like 24 inches as well, but they'll all be cut down and trimmed to shape, as you'll see later on. There's 3 sections that are going to be, you can see in the, that are going to form the back part of the airboat, where the propeller is and the rudders are going to be located. And there are 3 sections. I think they're like 5 by 5, and then like 3 by 5, something like that. I just kind of made it up as I went, based off of a previous boat that I made with 21 by 10 dimensions. The boat needed to be deeper. This is my first person view equipment, and the batteries, the 1300 milliamp batteries and 1800 milliamp batteries that I use, they're just too deep for the 1-inch hole that I had before on the previous boat. Okay, so anyway, as you've seen here, you slot the horizontal width of the boat panels with the lengthway panels, and I'm just tacking them down with a little hot glue there to get them nice and straight on the top section of the boat. Then I'm just reinforcing all the little joints, getting them nice and sealed, and putting on the rear horizontal panel. After that's good and tacked down on there, I'm going to get the bottom of the boat. This is a 24-inch long section, so it's going to have a little extra at the end. We're going to tack it down on the aft end of the boat. You notice I'm putting a little glue there across the horizontal braces. Got to work kind of quick to get the glue down where you wanted it. I should have done this with the lettering on the 1/4-inch foam facing towards the inside of the boat, but I wasn't paying attention. I was just running through it. Anyway, so you work from the back of the boat, start working it forward. Once it all gets nice and tacked down, then you start working towards the curve at the front of the boat. Takes a little time holding the bottom Depron foam from Lowe's or Home Depot is where you can get this stuff from to get it tacked down to the bottom of the boat. You want to get it nice and tacked down good before you go trying to bend it around the curve of the bow of the boat, because it'll start popping up from the back, and you'll see I'll have to go back there in a little bit and reseal everything, because there are some places where it popped up. So a lot of this is me just kind of keeping the pressure down on it while the glue is drying, and then going back and resealing the little edges of the bow there, and any little joints that wanted to pop up. Now I'm trying to really put a strong upward curve on the bow, trying to make sure that the glue seals it real good. And I'll come back here shortly and cut off the excess once it's nice and cooled down and has a good, nice, firm stick to it. I'm hitting it again with a little more glue, make sure it's well sealed. Alright, now I'm going to look at the sides of the boat and kind of start seeing how much I'm going to need on the side panels. Having to just sand it off of a corner, kind of a 45 degree, so that the side panels will fit flush with the bottom of the boat, and a little bit on the top ridge of the boat as well, so that it makes a nice flat surface to glue the side panels to. Now start doing the hot glue, working from the back of the boat to the front once again, because the front always tapers inward a little bit. So once you get it nice and glued along the back lines, both sides, it's a lot easier to curve them in and glue them towards the, make that little curve in towards the front of the boat. Of course, I'm always going back and seating all the edges with the glue, because it's doesn't always seem to make a good stick the first time. My hot glue skills could be a little better. Alright, now getting that little tapered part, you just have to work it best you can. Sipping a little coffee makes it easier. Just kind of glue it what you can and press it in. And I always reseal the edges, because you want it to be watertight. You want to overlap both the top and the bottom of the boat with those side panels. Just, the side panels are a little bit extra long, and that way you can just cut it off. You don't see it in the video, but I cut off the excess trim. And I'm just trying to fit up the rear panels. Basically what I did, I took the whole top section and cut it out, and then I went back and cut the smaller panels out after that. Now the panels angle down so that the prop will have a little more airflow down there. That's why it's got the 3 seconds back panels. It actually tapers down to from 2 inches on the sides all the way down to 1 inch depth in the center. So the motor can basically be dropped down a little bit closer to the center line of the boat, and you don't get too much adverse down thrust from the prop. Once again, going back with the glue, and this does taper down, so I attack the outer edges first, let them get good and dry, and then go back and press the 1/4 inch foam down and hold it steady so that hot glue will cool down. Now that foam does insulate it very well. It is insulation, so you got to hold it for a little while to make sure that the glue gets nice and cool. So you do have a little bit of time to work once you get it, pressed down. And I go back and reseal all the little joints with hot glue. Don't want anything, any water getting in anywhere. Of course, it's going to be taped up with packing tape later on. Now right here, I'm putting in the second panel. Later on, what I end up doing is cutting little holes in those little long lengthways ribs there, because for the servo, It's going to actually be on the outer panel that I'm about to attach right here. The servo is going to be out there. I just wanted a place for the servo lead to come through. You can either do it now before you put the top section on there, or you can just do it later. This ends up being a little compartment in the middle that I'm able to access for the receiver. The receiver sits in this compartment, the battery sits in the middle compartment, and then the first person view camera equipment's in the front part of the boat compartment. Resealing those edges because it takes a lot of glue to get those things seated the way I like them to be, and fill in any little gaps and little hot glue that may have popped loose when I was conforming it around. Notice the sides go up a little bit higher than the top section. That way you can cut it flush and level later on. Alright, here I'm cutting the little strip so that you got a little gap for that center section. I actually cut the center section a little wide, and I'm just custom fitting it so that it'll be flat across in that middle section. Going back and putting the glue on there, sealing up everything, holding it down. I like to have the center ribs, the long ways ribs, kind of exposed a little bit. That way, when you put that center section, it has something to press down against and hold against. Gives you a little piece to glue against. Once again, this is the first time I've done a Depron style boat, so a lot of trial and error with this first build. Now once that center section is placed, I went back and cut slots in it once it was glued in place, and you can see the vertical stabilizers there that the motor's on. They actually fit down in those slots, and I just packing taped the entire thing so that it'll be nice and sealed. I used bidirectional tape on the rudder to hold the rudder hinges on there. The rudders are balsa laminated, horizontal and lengthways. They have little wooden control horns in between there. The little metal rod that goes between the two rudders has a little, I guess you call it a V bend in it, so that you can lengthen it and straighten it out. Also on the bottom of the boat has that packing tape. It's a bidirectional packing tape. It's very strong. It'll keep any sticks or anything from puncturing the Depron through the packing tape. Really strengthens up the bottom of the boat. I used color packing tape, yellow on the top, purple on the bottom. Just had some extra laying around there. That bidirectional tape really works well. I've put little holes in between on those little metal, on the little wooden arms there, control horns, and that little metal piece fits in between there. You see it's got that V bend that you can lengthen and bend it as needed. Got a little compartment there. The back compartment is for the receiver. That middle compartment I just opened up is for the battery and speed controller. I go a little bit extra speed controller, 40 amp, because it doesn't breathe very much. That front compartment that's held on by magnets. That front hatch is held on by magnets. That's where the first person view equipment goes. That's the Foxtech 800 milliwatt system there, with a little 420 TV camera set up on a pan tilt system that I made. Once it's all pressed back down, it makes a pretty good seal, and it doesn't leak much as of the first test we've done. The tape I overlap so that you can see the little tabs. It makes it easier to open those hatches up when when you go past the edge of the hatch. Put a little tape folded over. It gives you a little something to grab to open up hatches.